I see here you wrote MTG content creator. So basically, you're broke.
Well, yeah, it sounds about right. Listen, I'll take anything you have. I need the money.
Well, there is one gig you can do, and it should work well with your second career. Give you plenty of time to write the script. How familiar are you with the Overlooked Hotel?
Hey Manamu, how's the script coming along?
How do you like it?
Planeswalkers! How you doing? How you doing? Today, things get big. We're talking mono green big. For this viewer request, we have Ojer Kaslem, Deepest Growth, a god, 6/5, that says, whenever Ojer Kaslem deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom in any random order. So like a true mono green player, we're going to be cheating out only the most Timmy of cards and absolutely styling on the blue-white players. Now, I know what you're thinking. Manamu, there's no way this deck isn't going to cost me an arm and a leg. And to that I say, right or left. But in all seriousness, there are ways to get a hold of these cards that may seem unnatural. For our strategy, we plan to flood the board and... This isn't right. Strategy simple. We attack at dawn with big creature. Now before I get started, if you're new here, I do request to leave a comment or join our channel Discord. Starting off, we have Mana Dorks. All these cards provide mana in one way or another, and that's why we're playing them. First, Arbor Elf. Birds of Paradise, which pulls double duty as a flying blocker later, and Delighted Halfling, which comes with the added bonus of making our legendary creatures uncounterable. The triplets, Elvish Mystic, Finhorn Elves, and Llanowar Elves. Then we step away from the mana producers for Wild Tracker, which is a fight stick that we can use repeatedly. Cankerbloom for its utility to blow up artifacts and enchantments, Secure Tribe Elder or Steve for the extra land, and Scavenging Ooze to hate on the graveyards. Augur of Autumn for some top of the library plays, just make sure you have Coven first. Azusa, Lost but seeking to empty the hand of lands, and trust me, this ramp will be necessary with our top end, and our commander is 5 mana as well. Circle of Dreams Druid for even more mana, but we also have an infinite mana combo with this card in the deck. Courser of Crewfix to ensure we never draw lands again. Eternal Witness for some recursion, because you can't spell winning without consistency. Gwenna, Eyes of Gaia, which doubles as a mana producer, but also a beat stick because she untaps and gets counters. Llanowar Tribe, because by god, we will have a turn 4 commander no matter what. Prowling Serpapod to keep blue players in the dirt where they belong. Reclamation Sage because no artifact or enchantment will keep us down. Renati, Behemoth Caller, is a mana dork that can provide us with bigger creatures based on their mana value, and if they are expensive enough, they'll get haste as well. Zavala, Heart of the Wilds for some combo potential and cards, and who doesn't love cards? If you're confused with how this combos, don't worry, that's actually the combo that'll be featured in today's video, so stick around for that. Thrashing Brontodon for more removal on artifacts and enchantments. Just remember, we're playing this over something like Force of Vigor because we can hit this creature off our commander. Tireless Provisioner for some ramp or life. The great part is we get to choose. And with the extra land drops this deck has, this card has a pretty high ceiling. Speaking of extra land drops, we also are playing Wayward Sawtooth for the, well, extra land drop, and it turns into a good 5/5 attacker later in the game, and City's Blessing is never hard to get. Wood Elves for an extra land. Beast Whisperer for extra cards when we play creatures, and at this point, hopefully you realize we're playing a lot. Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma for the discount it gives bigger creatures, and the boost in power and trample when they swing. Karamech's Acolyte for more combo potential and mana. Oracle of Modiah for more lands off the top of our library and extra land drops. Seraph, the Viper's Fang, hands out Death Touch or Hexproof depending on whether our creatures are tapped or not. Death Touch and Trample though go really well together in this deck. Timeless Witness for some extra consistency. Toski, Bear of Secrets for extra cards, and we have ways to buff this little guy up. Acidic Slime because not even your lands will be safe from our creature removal. Defiler of Vigor to beef up the gang and pay less for the lads at the cost of our own life. Garrick's Pack Leader for, you guessed it, more cards. Silverback Elder to put the Sithis player back in the hole they came from, and the other modes are just a ton of value. Kadama of the East Street does have some combo potential in the deck, but we can make use of its trigger for normal value since our cards are so expensive. Kogla, the Titan Ape, removes a creature on ETB and destroys artifacts or enchantments on swing, and no, I did not lose to an artifact deck recently. Pathbreaker Ibex is a great target for any pumping, as this beefcake can turn all our creatures into lethal with just one swing. Rampaging Balefs, which are a part of a combo, but we do have a lot of extra land drops we can make in this deck, so we can make a big 4/4 army if needed. So the Harvest for a big beat stick that draws us even more cards. Serac and Goreclaw, which is a beast of a card. It gives trample to other creatures and it pumps their power, and hey, why not give them haste at the same time. Vigor, and if you haven't played against it before, then let me be the first to tell you. Combat's about to get messy, and oh, that Blasphemous Act you're holding, well, you might as well discard it. With Vigor, we turn damage to our creatures into +1/+1 counters, and the card shuffles back into the deck if you Doomblade it. Regal Force can fill our hand, we'll just have to make sure that we have a few creatures out first. So Pandrel, Hunger Dominus, because we have a lot of creatures that care about their power being increased, and the number one creature is our commander so that we can dig deeper in our deck. Crater Hoof Behemoth, which ideally we don't put this card into play using our commander's trigger, we want to cast it before combat so we get maximum value out of it. Alta Stampede Tyrant, which if we hit with our commander's trigger, we can use to empty our hand of the really expensive creatures. Either way though, it is a 12/12 Trampler, so it's usually the correct choice to pick it for our commander's trigger. Apex Altasaur to clean up the board of creatures, and finally Ghalta Primal Hunger because cheap 12/12 Tramplers are always a good way to close out a game. Moving on, we do actually play a Planeswalker in this deck. It is Garrick, Primal Hunter, and we primarily play this card for its -3s, that way we can draw a whole bunch of cards. But his Uptick and Ultimate aren't totally useless, just not great. For our spells, we have Primal Surge, which I guess the cat's out of the bag now. Yes, this deck only plays one non-permanent card in its Primal Surge, so that for 10 mana, we can put our deck into play and win the game. Just remember not to deck yourself with Regal Force or cards like it, because casting this card should always win you the game. Now for the artifacts and enchantments, I'll start with the ramp. Oh, you thought we were done with ramp? When we played green, we played a ramp. So to start, we have Emerald Medallion for the discount, Runner's Monument for the same thing, only we get some extra power and trample out of the deal, and Wild Growth for extra mana. For everything else, we have Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots for the protection and haste, then Concordant Crossroads for more haste action. Staff of Domination for combo, Up the Beanstalk for extra cards, Garrick's Uprising also gives us more cards, but we get some trample too as a bonus. The Skullspore Nexus, mainly for its ability to double our commander's power, but the tokens we get are useful. Growing Rites of Iklamok, which should never miss, it should always hit a creature, and Gaia's Cradle is a great card. The Great Henge for even more value, cards, power, life, it does it all. Tribute to the World Tree, more card draw and power boost for our mana dorks, and finally Unnatural Growth to double our creature's power for some good old-fashioned overkill. For the meta base, follow your budget, but if you'd like to copy a meta base, then feel free to copy the one found in the deck list in the description of this video. My land recommendation for this deck is Guildless Commons, as it is a bounce land that allows the Kadama, the East Street combos to function in the deck. For the combo section, I'll be showing one of the combos found in the deck, but there are more for you to find. For this combo, we'll need Staff of Domination, Savala, Heart of the Wilds, and a creature with at least 6 powers. For this example, I'm using Defiler of Vigor. To start the combo, activate Savala by paying 1 green and tapping it, adding at least 6 green mana to your mana pool. Activate Staff of Domination by paying 3 mana and tapping it, untapping Savala. Activate Staff of Domination by paying 1 mana, untapping itself. We can then repeat this process for infinite mana and cards. Since our deck plays haste enablers, this will lead to a table kill through combat damage. That's going to do it for today's deck. Let me know how I did or tell me about your favorite green card in the comments below. Subscribe or join to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.